Today, we analyze Flesh and Blood. I can't. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Serious take. We only do one takes here. Full takes. Okay. But for real, guys, if you don't know, what today we're going to talk about is Flesh and Blood at a point where it is possibly a very good investment opportunity? Or is this it, right? So, I kind of decided the way I want to start this video is, to kind of give a quick little rundown history of Flesh and Blood in case, like, there's some people out there who aren't familiar with it, or they know very little of it. So, Flesh and Blood was it a Kickstarter? I believe it was a Kickstarter. It's an indie TCG, right? I believe it was Kickstarted. And they had initially their alpha, which was going to be, or which would be considered the Welcome to Wraith. These are unlimited, but you had like your original Welcome to Wraith. And those came out, and then we had, I believe it was Arcane Rising next, and then Crucible of War. You have your main three: Welcome to Wraith, Arcane Rising, Crucible of War. These sets in their original printing, not the unlimited, which you can see by these red bars here, are in the thousands. Or actually, I think you can get a Crucible of War booster box for like $500, $600, $700, $800. But these other two, these are going to be in the thousands. And basically, this was one of the first extremely successful TCGs. It came out in a very, during the pandemic, or kind of right before it, I should say. And it was doing really well. This was also during the crypto boom. So a lot of people will notice that during this time, and still maybe so more, I don't know how much it will be connected going forward. I think it still will be. But during this time between, like 2019 to 2022, well, in crypto and collectibles, very, closely correlated. So basically, the first three sets were doing phenomenal. Big boom, everyone's, oh, this is the magic killer, right? And then what happens? Monarch. And I finally went back and I did some looking, and yeah, it looks like basically about like 500 is what this box got to. $500 a box. I bought this box for $68. All right. So now I've talked about it in a previous video, there was a lot of shenanigans that happened with this box, a lot of bamboozling. And basically it crashed everything. Not everything, obviously, right? Because the original prints of these are still, they're obviously not at their highs, but they are, still extremely well. But basically Monarch collapsed. Everfest came out. Was Everfest ever high? I was buying cases of Everfest for like less than $200. So, yeah, that product. Basically, from Monarch on, it was a huge struggle, and basically everyone thought Flesh and Blood was going to be dead. And then they came out with 2.0 with Uprising, and they've turned themselves around, and basically, like, selling singles for Flesh and Blood has been extremely successful for me. It's a great way to like kind of start a TCG business. Like, if you want to sell like crack boxes and sell singles, Flesh and Blood, like the single market is crazy. But even still with the singles are amazing. The boxes are still under $80, and they supposedly short printed that. So it's like, right now we're at a moment where this is the threshold, and this is kind of what we're going to talk about today. Is right now is either the greatest time to buy Flesh and Blood, as far as investment goes, or it's going to be like these other TCGs where they come out with sets, they're playable, they're very playable, they're fun, but they're not investable, right? And maybe that's what they want. But the ones that are, I'm going to talk about the sets that are screaming at me the most, that I think, if you have any interest in investing in this stuff, this is what I'm going to suggest. first I'm gonna start with Crucible of War. And I'll just like throw some images up on the screen kind of while I'm talking. But basically, if you look at TCG Player, this product is one of the oldest, and it's what seems to be one of the lowest supplies available right now in the market. If you go, like right now, we can just look right here that there's only what, like 2-3 pages, and essentially once you get to like the bottom of the first page and onto the second page, we're almost hitting like the $200 and passing a box. So I just think, you know, basically if people come in and buy like 10-20 boxes, the price like almost doubles, right? Now, could more people come and put boxes on the market if that happens? Of course, right? Because I'm sure there are people sitting on these. But this one kind of just screams to me the most. So I'm not really buying anymore right now, but I'm... Basically, this video is me talking through if I want to or not. Second thing, we're going to come to the infamous Monarch, right? I mean, for a product that at one point... Okay, here's the thing, too, where I'm going to talk about Monarch First Edition versus Everfest First Edition. Now, here's a weird thing with Everfest that I really like that some people have talked about, but I can't really get a conversation going on it because people say it's still just a crap set. Everfest was the last set where they did First Edition, right? Because I'm pretty sure Everfest came before Tales of Aria. Anyway, Everfest, they destroyed the print of the Unlimited. So there's only First Edition Everfest. So there's a theory that even though Monarch might be better than Everfest, with there being like, okay, to give you an idea, like, oh my, there's so much Monarch Unlimited, I can't fathom, like that stuff's got to be burned. That's never going to be opened. And that's the whole problem. They did the whole First Edition, they did like a First Edition box, and then, so like here, I don't even think, yeah. So here, on the back of the box, it says First Edition, right? And then on the Unlimited boxes, they obviously say Unlimited. Now, they stopped doing this and switched to Fab 2.0, where they only do like one box, which is what they should have done the entire time. I don't know if the print runs off or people just have zero... It must be that people have zero interest in investing in the sealed product because the singles do phenomenally. Now, the problem, though, is like with Magic and stuff, is they reprint the playable cards, and the playable cards really seem to be the only things that hold value. There's Marvels and some other stuff that kind of hold value, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of demand for it, right? Like, there's not a ton of grading. Like, there is some grading, but usually is like their champion, like, because if you don't know Fab, basically like you have like your character and you have like armor slots, and like those just go onto the board, like, so you start the game with those. They're not in your deck, so you can kind of slab them and play with them slabbed. So that is one cool thing. Like, again, I love Flesh and Blood. I think it's one of the most fun, enjoyable games to play. That's why I'm like, even if it's not investable right now, with it being such a fun game to play, if it can like keep and hold on, I think it does have longevity as far as, like, that's one point towards the longevity of investing. Now, counterpoint to that is you have a lot of games like Sorcery and other indie TCGs. One Piece isn't really an indie TCG, but you've had other TCGs kind of come out. Basically, Flesh and Blood dropped the ball. And while they were kind of recouping and rebuilding, because I do think they are making really good, like, they're making good changes. But they've burned so many people, and there's so many other TCGs. Like, it used to be just Magic and Pokemon, right? And now there's so many other games out there that you have to be really competitive to like win, you know, to not lose market share essentially. So, you know, I think Sorcery has possibly taken a huge chunk of Flesh and Blood's collector base. So this is just kind of a video to say, hey, this is Flesh and Blood. If you've kind of heard of it, if you want to play it, go, like, honestly, if you're a player and you like hate us investors and you want nothing to do with investing in it, I would recommend you go play it. But as an investable thing, there are a few things right now that I'm looking at that are like basically at all-time lows. And there's basically two options, right? They're either going to go to zero or there's got to be some sort of recovery. But that's the video for today, guys. No whiteboard, sorry. But I just wanted to kind of talk. I'd been saying I was going to talk about Flesh and Blood for a while now, so we'll talk about the new Pokemon set and stuff later, and the new Bloomburrow. But have a good one, guys.